And we're live here in Nourish, Heal, and Thrive. I'm so excited to have another exciting interview. I have Marc with me today, and Marc is a shamanic practitioner, and I'm excited to hear more about that. So, Marc, thank you for being here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Derek. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is really cool. Tell us about who you are and where you're from and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So, as you said, I'm a shamanic practitioner, and a lot of people don't know what that means. So, I'll try to explain it. This was kind of the result of me being on a healing journey myself, trying to find ways to heal from debilitating chronic pain that I had from a car accident back in 2011. And also because I was in so much pain, not moving and not eating well and all the things, right? So um, I went through the Western medicine pain management rodeo and got nowhere. And in fact, I got to a point where I was in so much pain that I contemplated suicide because I couldn't really see a reason to wake up and go to bed in that much pain, right? Um, but obviously I'm here. I checked in. I figured out a way to heal after I stopped listening to my doctors because I realized they were going to kill me. The medication they were giving me actually gave me an ulcer and I almost bled out. So that was the end of that in terms of that relying on that modality to do anything to change my condition. And I started studying indigenous people and how the most healthy, thriving cultures on the planet live, what their relationship with food is like, what their relationship with the earth and with spirit is like. And it kind of led me eventually to studying the Q'ero people in the Andes, and how they interact with each other, with the earth. And it really rang a bell with me. I felt it in my heart when I started being introduced to those concepts. And I ended up going through an intense study with the Four Winds Society for 6 months, and then ended up living in the Andes with the Q'ero for a little while, and went through all the initiation and training to, again, my impetus was to heal myself. But along the way, I learned that we all have this divine ability to unlock our own inner healer. And through the choices that we make, we can live a regenerative lifestyle that will allow us to heal from almost anything. And so that's my mission now. That's my calling, and what I want to spend the rest of my life doing is helping people learn to become their own guru and unlock their own inner healer. I'm just a guide. I learned a few things and I can show you some stuff that works, but it's really all about you and your relationship with spirit and how you can unlock your ability to heal.
Wow, that's really cool. What was it like living in the Andes with the Carol people?
Wow. I mean, waking up every morning and looking out the window and seeing the Andes, that's enough to transform most people. Just that. It's so beautiful and it's such a high energy place, the Sacred Valley, where all the, I mean, everybody knows Machu Picchu, right? But it turns out there's a whole network of sacred sites there. And the Q'ero, the Pacos, they call themselves Pacos, not shamans, right? They're the wisdom keepers, keeping a lineage going all the way back to the Inca. And they're the spiritual caretakers of these places. And so to go there with them and be in ceremony with them, these initiatory ceremonies and celebration ceremonies and things, is just transformative. I have no adjectives to use to describe what it's like to do this, but it definitely lit a fire in my belly and showed me what was possible. And really, that's where it all begins, is with belief. If you believe that you can heal, that's like the first step. If you believe that it's possible, you don't know how, you don't know how long or what path it's going to take, all that's fine. First, you have to believe. And that's what really was the transformative stage that I had to pass through was, yeah, I can leave that pain behind. I can lose 130 pounds, which is what I've done today. Um, obviously not taking GLP-1 or any medications like that, just finding a new balance, finding harmony.
Amazing. Yeah, I hiked Mount uh, Machu Picchu. I hiked the Inca Trail and did all that. And I remember this, that was way before I got into like my own healing journey and some of the work I was doing. But I remember it feeling like the energy there was so good. And it just, I was energized. I had more energy than, just being at home. And I didn't really understand it. But now I do. And I kind of get it. And I can really appreciate that you felt it there. So, um, I was curious, so how did you lose the 130 pounds that you just lost?
So that was a couple of different things that I had skills that I picked up along the way. One of the core trainings of the Four Winds Society is based on a book by the founder, Dr. Alberto Villoldo, called Grow a New Body. And he wrote the original form of this book like 25 years ago, something like that. And it was called One Spirit Medicine. And all he was trying to do was document the relationship with food and the environment that the Caro had. So it was just kind of the spiritual and cultural part of it. Well, then he had his own health crisis, and he's friends with a lot of other doctors, like Pearl Mutter, who wrote Wheat Belly, and Mark Hyman, and people like that. And they encouraged him, you've healed yourself with these principles. Let's add another half of this book that explains the science behind why the indigenous practices work, right? And so now he re-released it as a new book called Grow a New Body. And I went through the training of this, and it's a lot of things, but it's very prescriptive in things like, how to do intermittent fasting with the right kind of spiritual and emotional support, how to have a communication channel that's clear with your body and allow your body's wisdom to emerge and tell you what you should eat or not eat, how to rebuild your gut bacteria
Hmm.
so that the neurons in your gut are not misfiring and telling you to eat things that are not good for you, how to eat for your brain, and how different foods affect the different cognitive abilities in your brain, right? Because we have three brains. And certain things that we eat keep us locked in fight or flight mode. Certain other things that we eat stimulate our neocortex, which is where the God brain is, and the pineal gland and things like that. So all of this kind of stuff together, all these techniques together, I've been following it for 2 years now, and I still have a little bit of weight to lose, but it's my mindset isn't about losing weight. It's about finding new levels of harmony and always challenging myself. What is in my life that's not in harmony that I need to work on? And it usually that work involves letting something go so that something new that's good for me can emerge and come in. Right. So that was a big mind shift set because everybody in the fitness world is talking about things that you need to do to make something happen.
Right.
And mostly what I've learned, I'd say 90% of what I learned was how to let things go and surrender and trust all those feminine, divine feminine qualities, not the divine masculine qualities of going out, building, creating, making things happen, right? Totally transformative to me is, oh, okay, I can just not do that. Great. I'll let that go.
Yeah. That's amazing. A lot of what we do is we're so worried about things we have to do all the time, right? And sometimes the answer is just stop and slow down and take a
Hmm.
break.
Yeah, exactly. Just let it go. And being kind to yourself
Yeah.
and forgiving yourself. I love the saying that the Dalai Lama has about how we should treat our bodies. He said we should treat our bodies like a favored pet. Think about that. We love our pets. They're like our kids, right? And we would never be cruel to them, and we would never have the kind of dialogue playing in like we have in our head about tearing ourselves down and not looking good in the mirror and not meeting our goal. We wouldn't do that to a dog or a cat,
Yeah.
right? So why should we do it to ourselves?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, very cool. So, yeah, tell us, Mark, who are your clients who comes to you, and what kind of things happen when after they work with you?
So yeah, so it took a lot of work and refinement and letting go to realize who I really was here to serve. And the best way I can describe my ideal client, I work with a lot of different kinds of people, but my ideal client is kind of me 5 years ago. So, you know, I've been in the technology field for over 30 years. I've been executive at different companies, did all the things, checked all the boxes of things I thought I was supposed to do as a man to be successful, house, car, money, all the things that actually made me sick and almost die from the stress of it all and from the misalignment and disharmony of it all. And so the people that I serve are kind of coming from that world and maybe have chronic conditions or weight issues, maybe emotional relationship issues, feeling disconnected, really feeling like they're not in harmony in their life. But how that shows up a lot of times is chronic conditions, because that's spirit's like last gasp of trying to get you to pay attention.
Mm.
You're not paying attention, you're not in harmony. Here's a disease for you to deal with, or here's some huge loss for you to process. These are wake up types of moves that spirit makes so that you can do what's necessary for you to transform into the person that you were always meant to be. You can't just decide to do it. It takes work. And a lot of that work becomes somatic. It's in your body, which is why talk therapy only works for some people on the emotional side, right? I always get real suspicious when I hear about people that have been talk therapy for 20 years. It's like, okay, what's the outcome of that,
Mm.
right? They're not addressing the fact that there's a holistic principle in operation here, where body, mind, and spirit are linked. And if we don't process the trauma, it's in our bodies. And so a lot of the techniques that I've learned from the Karo lineage is how to release that somatic trauma or darkness. They call it hucha, which is like a dark shadow. How do you release that? It takes work. First, you have to realize that it's happening and you have to work to let it go. So the clients that I serve are maybe people that have tried a bunch of stuff and maybe got some incremental improvements, but it's still involving a lot of suffering and they're still not getting where they want to go. That's the ideal person that should be talking to me, or people that I know in my network that are other healers of different modalities. Because I'm very honest, I'll tell you if I feel like I can help you or not.
Oh,
And if I can, I'll connect you with somebody that maybe would have a better shot, or I'll tell you, I have no idea.
yeah. Is that ever the case? Isn't most of those things, most of our problems, illnesses, suffering, it's all kind of related to one thing usually, right?
It usually is. And the people that I tend to end up walking away, parting friends, is where they compartmentalize what they're willing to do.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, for example, with on the emotional side, yeah, I know I need to practice gratitude and forgiveness, and I can forgive anybody in my life except my dad.
yeah.
Well, guess what?
Okay.
Your emotional trauma is probably related to the fact that you won't forgive your dad, right?
Right.
It's about your healing, not his.
Yeah. You have to be ready to go,
You
right?
have
You
to
have
be
to want
ready.
it.
You have to and it's so much easier, I find, and this is true of me too, until recently, like the last few years. It's so much easier to give yourself a project and a goal to go do something. It's so much harder to turn inward and ask the hard questions about what do I do that's not serving me? What habits do I have? What thought patterns do I have that are not serving me? And what can I do to let them go? That's hard.
Yeah. Especially, I think part of that is because that's how we're raised, right? That's how
Yeah.
society tells us we have to do something. We have to, we have to get a job. We have to get married. There's things that we're supposed to be doing all the time
Right.
that maybe we don't have to do all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I believe I believe what the Caro believe it's a simple philosophy that we're here to be in Heine, to be in harmony and reciprocity, to be a generator, reflector, embodier of that. And just imagine what the world would be like if everybody did that.
Yeah.
There would be no conflict, there would be no division, because we would always be thinking about the world first, then our village or our society, our little family unit, and then us. And how is there reciprocity between all those things? It makes it very hard to have division. So that was like a big aha for me. I'm like, yeah, I want some of that. That's what I'm going to be doing from now on is figuring out what I'm doing that's not that and letting it go.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Really, really good stuff. Got me thinking. Is there anything that you haven't shared yet that you'd like to share that we might have missed?
Yeah, so in terms of how to work with me, I have a couple of different things that I do. I always do one-on-one work with people, energy work, but I put a lot of time and effort into creating space for group work because what I find is, and this was a big shift for me too, being isolated for so long and in pain, everything that I do now is in community. That's why I'm here today with you, right? Because I believe in building community and I believe in healing in community. So I have a 12-week program I call Spirit Health Activation. And it's really about that mind, body, spirit approach to whatever ails you to uncover what's blocking you from healing. And that's how I look at it is what's blocking you. It's not something you have to do, it's something you have to let go. And the program is designed to take you around the medicine wheel, as we say, the four directions, the four levels of perception to really give you clarity on what those things are in your life that you have to work on. And we have techniques for, changing your relationship with food, uncovering emotional blocks, reconnecting to spirit in a way that resonates with you personally. We're not teaching you religion or anything like that. It's about how you connect with yourself and how yourself connects with all that is. So we do all that in the 12-week program.
Wow. Sounds great. So I'm gonna have you put the link to that in the comments here so people can find you and any other links that you may want to share. Please put those in the comments so people can connect with you. Um, wow, it's been really great. Any final words for the people that are watching?
Yeah, just be kind to yourself. This is a journey. It's not about reaching a destination because as soon as you think you know what that destination is, you're limiting yourself. You're creating a limiting belief, right? So the journey is really about, I look at it as a spiral. You're ever spiraling up. You're increasing your frequency. Some people say that, right? So be kind to yourself and know that you have a lot of things to learn and a lot of things to unlearn. And it's going to take some time. It took time to get you to where you are, that the things that you don't prefer that you're experiencing, it's going to take a little time to get you out of it.
Yeah, beautifully said. Take care of yourself, celebrate your wins, and enjoy the journey. I love it. So thank you, Mark, for doing this today. We're definitely going to have you back. Really, really appreciate everything you've said here. And those of you that are watching, if you like what Mark said, if you resonate with him and you want his help, he's going to put his links in the comments so you can connect with him. And yeah, thank you, Mark. Thank you for watching, and we'll see everybody at the next one.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate it.